Let me start with something that might make you uncomfortable. Right now, while you're watching this video, 60 seconds of your life just passed. Those 60 seconds, they're gone forever. You can't get them back, you can't replay them, and you can't redo them. The average human lives about 700,000 hours. Sounds like a lot, right? But let me break that down for you. By the time you're 25, you've already used up about 220,000 hours. Subtract the time you'll spend sleeping. That's another 200,000 hours gone. Work at a job you don't love for 40 years? There goes 80,000 more hours. What's left? Maybe 200,000 hours to actually live your life, to pursue what matters, to become who you're supposed to become. And most people waste even that. They waste it scrolling through social media. They waste it complaining about things they can't control. They waste it waiting for someday. Someday when they have more money, more time, more confidence, more whatever. But here's the brutal truth. Someday is not a day of the week. Someday never comes. The only day you have is today. The story that changes everything. Let me tell you about two people I knew in college. We'll call them Mark and Steve. Mark and Steve were roommates. Same age, same background, same opportunities, but they had completely different approaches to life. Mark was a planner. He was always talking about what he was going to do after graduation, once he saved enough money, when the timing was right. He had elaborate 5-year plans and 10-year goals. Everything had to be perfect before he could start. Steve was different. While Mark was planning, Steve was doing. He started a small business selling textbooks to other students. He failed. So he tried tutoring. That didn't work either. Then he started a campus cleaning service. That one took off. By graduation, Mark had perfect grades and perfect plans. Steve had a business generating $50,000 a year and 3 job offers from companies that had watched him execute while everyone else was just talking. Today, 10 years later, Mark is still planning. He's been at the same company for 8 years, waiting for the right opportunity to start his own business. He's always 6 months away from making the leap. Steve? He sold that cleaning business after college, started a digital marketing company, failed, started a software company, succeeded, sold that, and now invests in other entrepreneurs. He's not smarter than Mark. He's not luckier than Mark. The only difference is that Steve understood something Mark didn't. Life rewards action, not intention. The psychology of wasted potential. Why do so many people waste their lives? It's not because they don't want success. It's not because they don't have dreams. It's because they're afraid. Afraid of failure, afraid of judgment, afraid of not being perfect. But here's what I learned from studying successful people for the last 5 years. They're not fearless. They're scared too. The difference is they do it anyway. Fear is not the enemy. Inaction is the enemy. Let me explain how your brain works against you. Your brain has one primary job: keep you alive. Not happy, not successful, just alive. And for thousands of years, taking risks meant death. Staying with the tribe, doing what everyone else did, not standing out, that kept you alive. But in today's world, the biggest risk is not taking risks. The biggest danger is playing it safe. Because while you're staying comfortable, the world is moving forward without you. Your brain will give you 1,000 reasons why now isn't the right time. You don't have enough experience. You don't have enough money. You don't know the right people. What if it doesn't work? What if people think you're crazy? Here's what your brain won't tell you. Those successful people you admire, they started without experience, without money, without connections. They figured it out along the way. The 4 thieves of your life. There are 4 things that steal your life without you even noticing. I call them the 4 thieves. Thief 1, comfort. Comfort is seductive. It feels safe. But comfort is also where dreams go to die. I spent 3 years in a job I hated because it was comfortable. Good pay, decent people, predictable schedule. But every day, I felt a little piece of my soul dying. I was trading my life for security, and security isn't living, it's just existing. The comfort zone is called a zone because it's a place you get trapped in. Nothing grows there. Nothing changes there. It's the place where potential goes to waste. Thief 2, comparison. Social media has turned comparison into an Olympic sport. We compare our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You see someone your age buying their dream house and you think, I'm behind. You see someone starting a successful business and you think, I could never do that. You see someone traveling the world and you think, they're so lucky. But comparison is the thief of joy, and the killer of motivation. While you're busy comparing, you're not creating. While you're busy feeling inadequate, you're not building something meaningful. Here's the truth. There will always be someone ahead of you and someone behind you. The only comparison that matters is between who you are today and who you were yesterday. Thief 3. Perfectionism. Perfectionism masquerades as high standards, but it's actually just fear wearing a fancy outfit. Perfect is the enemy of done. Perfect is the enemy of progress. Perfect is the reason why most people never start anything. I know people who have been working on their book for 5 years. They're not working on it. They're perfecting the first chapter over and over again. Meanwhile, someone else wrote and published 3 books in that same time period. Your first attempt at anything will be terrible. That's not a bug. That's a feature. Terrible first attempts teach you what you need to know to make the second attempt better. Thief 4. Other people's opinions. The fear of what other people think is the fastest way to live someone else's life instead of your own. You don't start that business because your family thinks it's risky. You don't pursue that dream because your friends don't understand it. You don't make changes because people might think you've lost your mind. But here's what I realized. The people who matter don't mind, and the people who mind don't matter. Most people are too busy worrying about their own lives to spend much time judging yours. And the few who do judge, they're usually just projecting their own fears and regrets onto you. The compound effect of daily choices. Every day, you make thousands of small decisions. Most of them seem insignificant, but over time, these small decisions compound into the life you're living. Let me show you what I mean. The 1% principle. If you improve by just 1% every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better by the end of that year. If you get worse by 1% every day, you'll decline to nearly 0. This is why small habits matter so much. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but over a year, that's 3,650 pages, about 12 average books. Do that for 5 years, and you've read 60 books, while most people haven't read one. Working out for 15 minutes a day doesn't seem life-changing, but over time, it transforms your health, your energy, your confidence, and how you show up in every area of life. The story of 2 friends. Let me tell you about Jenny and Lisa, 2 friends who graduated college together with similar dreams and opportunities. Every day after work, they both had a choice about how to spend their evening. Jenny chose to spend an hour learning new skills, sometimes watching educational videos, sometimes taking online courses, sometimes practicing new abilities related to her dream career in graphic design. Lisa chose to spend that hour watching TV shows and scrolling through social media. After 1 month, the difference was barely noticeable. After 6 months, Jenny had learned some new design software, but she was still at her day job. After 1 year, Jenny had built a small portfolio and was taking freelance projects on weekends. After 2 years, Jenny's freelance work was earning more than her day job. She made the leap to full-time entrepreneurship. After 5 years, Jenny owned a successful design agency with multiple employees. Lisa was still at the same job, complaining about not having opportunities. The difference wasn't talent. The difference wasn't luck. The difference was how they spent 1 hour a day. The 5 pillars of not wasting your life. Pillar 1, clarity of purpose. You can't hit a target you can't see. Most people waste their lives because they don't know what they're aiming for. I spent my early 20s bouncing from opportunity to opportunity, never making real progress because I didn't have a clear vision of what I wanted. Here's how to find your purpose. First, ask yourself, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? What activities make you lose track of time? What problems do you naturally want to solve? Second, look at your past. What patterns do you see? What have you always been drawn to? What do people come to you for advice about? Third, think about impact. What kind of difference do you want to make in the world? What legacy do you want to leave? Your purpose doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to change the world. It just has to matter to you. Pillar 2, bias toward action. Ideas are worthless without execution. The world is full of great ideas that never became anything because their creators never took action. The most successful people I know aren't necessarily the smartest or most creative. They're the ones who take action while everyone else is still thinking about it. Here's my rule. If you can take any step toward your goal right now, take it. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Don't wait until you have all the information. Don't wait until you feel ready. You'll never feel ready. Ready is not a feeling, it's a decision. Pillar 3. Continuous learning. The world is changing faster than ever. The skills that got you here won't get you where you want to go. If you're not growing, you're dying. But here's what most people get wrong about learning. They think learning means formal education. College, courses, certifications. Real learning happens when you're solving real problems. It happens when you're building something, creating something, trying something new. Make learning a daily habit. Spend 30 minutes a day getting better at something that matters. In 5 years, you'll be an expert. In 10 years, you'll be world-class. Pillar 4. Strategic relationships. You become who you spend time with. If you're spending time with people who complain, you'll become a complainer. If you spend time with people who make excuses, you'll become an excuse maker. But if you spend time with people who take action, who think big, who solve problems, you'll become that kind of person too. Audit your relationships. Who lifts you up? Who drags you down? Who challenges you to be better? Who enables your worst habits? You don't have to cut people out of your life, but you do have to be intentional about who gets your time and energy. Pillar 5. Long-term thinking. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. They want quick results, instant gratification, overnight success. But anything worth having takes time to build. The most successful people I know think in decades, not quarters. They make short-term sacrifices for long-term gains. They plant seeds today that won't bear fruit for years. The real cost of waiting. Let me tell you about the most expensive word in the English language: later. I'll start eating healthy later. I'll begin that project later. I'll have that difficult conversation later. I'll pursue my dreams later. But later never comes. Later is a lie you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of change. The mathematics of procrastination. Let's say you want to start a business. You're 25 years old, and you decide to wait until you're more prepared. If you wait until you're 30, you've lost 5 years of learning, building, and growing. If your business takes 5 years to become successful, you'll be 35 when you reach your goal instead of 30. But it's worse than that. Those 5 years of experience you missed, they compound. The connections you could have made, the skills you could have developed, the opportunities you could have created, all gone. By waiting, you didn't just delay your success by 5 years. You potentially changed your entire trajectory. The opportunity cost story. I have a friend named David who wanted to be a writer. For 10 years, he talked about writing a novel. He bought books about writing. He attended workshops. He outlined story ideas, but he never actually wrote. He was waiting for the right time, when his job wasn't so demanding, when his kids were older, when he had more inspiration. One day, he met another aspiring writer at a coffee shop. This guy was 22 years old and had just published his second novel. Not a bestseller, not a masterpiece, but 2 complete books that people were actually reading. "How did you do it?" David asked. "I wrote 500 words every morning for 2 years," the young writer said. "Some days it was good, some days it was terrible. But I finished 2 books while you were getting ready to start one." That conversation changed David's life. He realized that while he was preparing to write, someone else was actually writing. The psychology of change. Why is it so hard to stop wasting your life and start living it? Because change requires you to become uncomfortable, and your brain hates discomfort. The comfort zone trap. Your comfort zone is like quicksand. The longer you stay in it, the harder it becomes to get out. What feels safe in the short term becomes a prison in the long term. Every day you don't take action toward your goals, taking action becomes a little bit harder. Every day you don't challenge yourself, growth becomes a little bit more foreign. But here's the good news. The same principle works in reverse. Every day you do take action, action becomes a little bit easier. Every day you do push yourself, growth becomes a little bit more natural. The identity shift. The most powerful changes happen when you change your identity, not just your actions. Instead of saying, "I want to be a writer," start saying, "I am a writer who's developing my craft." Instead of saying, "I want to be healthy," start saying, "I am a healthy person who makes healthy choices." Instead of saying, "I want to be successful," start saying, "I am a successful person who's building something meaningful." When you change your identity, your actions follow automatically. Breaking the cycle. Here's how to break the cycle of wasted potential. First, acknowledge where you are. Stop making excuses. Stop blaming circumstances. Take full responsibility for your current situation. Second, get disgusted with mediocrity. The pain of staying the same has to become greater than the pain of change. Third, make a decision. Not a wish, not a hope, a decision. Decisions have power. Decisions create momentum. Fourth, take immediate action. Even if it's small, even if it's imperfect, action creates clarity. Clarity creates more action. The practical blueprint motivation without a plan is just inspiration. Here's your practical blueprint for not wasting your life. Week 1-2, the audit. First, audit your time. For 1 week, track everything you do in 30-minute blocks. You'll be shocked at where your time actually goes. Most people think they don't have time to pursue their dreams, but then they discover they're spending 3 hours a day on social media, 2 hours watching TV, and an hour complaining about things they can't control. Second, audit your environment. What's supporting your goals? What's sabotaging them? Your physical environment, your digital environment, your social environment, all of it matters. Third, audit your habits. What are you doing every day that's moving you forward? What are you doing that's holding you back? Week 3-4, the foundation. Based on your audit, start building new foundations. Create a morning routine that sets you up for success. It doesn't have to be elaborate, just consistent. Maybe it's 20 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of planning your day, and 30 minutes of exercise. Eliminate or reduce your biggest time wasters. You don't have to go cold turkey, but start setting boundaries. Maybe social media only after 6 p.m., maybe TV only on weekends. Start one new habit that aligns with your goals. Just one. Master it before adding another. Month 2, the momentum phase. Now you start building momentum. Set weekly goals, not just daily ones. Weekly goals give you flexibility while keeping you accountable. Track your progress visibly. Put a calendar on your wall and mark off successful days. Seeing progress is motivating. Find an accountability partner, someone who's also working on meaningful goals, who will check in with you weekly. Month 3 and beyond, the compound phase. This is where the magic happens. Your new habits start feeling natural. Your progress becomes visible. Your confidence grows. Start thinking bigger. What seemed impossible 3 months ago now seems achievable. Begin teaching others what you're learning. Teaching forces you to clarify your thoughts and helps others avoid your mistakes. Plan your next level. What's the next challenge? What's the next skill to develop? What's the next goal to pursue? The stories that will inspire you. Let me share some stories of people who refuse to waste their lives. Sarah's story, from stuck to successful. Sarah was 32, working a job she hated, living paycheck to paycheck, feeling completely stuck. She had a degree in marketing, but was working as an administrative assistant because it was stable. One day, she calculated how many hours she had left if she continued on her current path. The number terrified her. She was trading 2,000 hours per year for money that barely covered her expenses and work that made her miserable. She made a decision. She would spend 1 hour every morning before work building freelance marketing skills. Just 1 hour. Month 1, she took online courses and built sample campaigns. Month 3, she landed her first $500 freelance project. Month 6, she was earning an extra $2,000 per month from freelance work. Month 9, her freelance income matched her day job salary. Month 12, she quit her day job and went full-time freelance. 2 years later, she runs a marketing agency with 6 employees and earns more in a month than she used to earn in a year. The only difference? She stopped wasting 1 hour per day watching Netflix and started investing it in her future. Mike's story, the 45-year-old entrepreneur. Mike thought he was too old to start over. At 45, divorced, with 2 kids and a mortgage, he felt trapped in a corporate job that was slowly killing his spirit. "I'm too old to take risks," he told himself. "I have responsibilities." But then he realized something. He had 20-plus years of work ahead of him. He could spend those 20 years being miserable, or he could spend them building something meaningful. He didn't quit his job immediately. Instead, he started a side business, helping other professionals in his industry solve common problems. He worked nights and weekends, sacrificing TV time and leisure activities. It took 3 years of grinding, but eventually his side business was generating enough income to replace his salary. At 48, he finally made the leap. Today, at 52, he owns a consulting firm that serves clients worldwide. He makes more money, has more freedom, and most importantly, he's proud of what he's building. Lisa's story, the creative comeback. Lisa had always wanted to be an artist. but practical family convinced her to study business instead. For 15 years, she worked in corporate finance, successful by external measures, but dying inside. At 37, she decided enough was enough. She couldn't waste another 15 years wondering what if. She didn't quit immediately. Instead, she started creating art in her spare time. Weekends, evenings, lunch breaks, any time she could find. She posted her work online, entered local art shows, and slowly built a following. It took 4 years of working 2 lives, corporate executive by day, emerging artist by night. But eventually, her art income grew enough that she could reduce her corporate hours. Then she went part-time. Then she made the full transition. Now at 43, she's a full-time artist whose work sells internationally. She makes less money than her corporate peak, but she's never been happier. Your life starts now. We've covered a lot of ground in this video, but all the information in the world is worthless without action. The choice before you grew. Right now, you have a choice. You can close this video and go back to your old patterns. You can step. Your first step is simple. Choose one thing from this video and do it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you have more time. Today. Maybe it's auditing how you spent the last 24 hours. Maybe it's writing down what you actually want from life. Maybe it's eliminating one time waster. Maybe it's starting one new habit. It doesn't matter what you choose. What matters is that you choose something and act on it immediately. The ripple effect. Here's what will happen when you take that first step. You'll prove to yourself that change is possible. That proof will give you confidence. That confidence will lead to more action. That action will create momentum. And momentum, once started, tends to continue. 6 months from now, you'll look back at today as the day everything changed. Not because of one big decision, but because of one small action that started a chain reaction. Final thoughts. Your life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is your one shot at creating something meaningful, something you can be proud of, something that matters. You have roughly 700,000 hours to work with. You've already used some of them. How many do you have left? More importantly, what are you going to do with the ones that remain? The clock is ticking, not to scare you, but to motivate you. Every second you delay is a second you can't get back. But every second you act is a second invested in the life you actually want to live. Your life starts now. What are you going to do with it? Please like, subscribe, and comments in the video.